In a valley at the base of the Cabinet Mountains, Libby, Montana is a fantastic place to live, work, and visit. And while Libby's future is bright, its history has been complicated. It was once home to the world's largest vermiculite mine, and resource extraction was the primary industry for decades.
So we're in Libby, Montana, where there was an active vermiculite mine up until 1990. Unfortunately, this mine actually had a lot of asbestos mixed within it. Here in Libby, it was used as soil amendments. It was waste material that people filled in their yards, and they also used it to insulate their attics. And people living here, working here, playing here. It was in the school track. It was on the school football field. So you culminate all those exposure pathways. That is kind of how it's become such a large project.
And it went from a industrial pollution problem to a disaster. That's all you can say was a disaster.
In 1999, the EPA began cleaning up and remediating not only the mine, but the entire town of Libby as well.
There's over 8,100 properties that were identified in the Superfund footprint, and we have investigated all but about 260 of them. 2,600 of those properties have had to have a cleanup.
After we discovered the magnitude of the problem at Libby, it was important that we move quickly, but it was also important that we move effectively. EPA, in partnership with local and state government, and they really collaborated with the community to make certain that they understood what was going on and why we were doing what we were doing.
So I've got to commend the EPA, because I'll tell you, they hung in there. They really hung in there. And there's times it wasn't really nice, it was a little unpleasant, but they managed. And I seriously, I would encourage anyone with children to move to Libby. The EPA has been here. We've identified the problem, we've addressed the problem, and cleaned up the problem.
I met my husband here, raising a family here. Our kids were born here. We've gone through the whole process with the EPA coming in, and we've actually seen the town change with a lot of the properties being cleaned up, so our kids can go out and play, and we don't have to worry about them being unsafe, and having good air and good soil to play on.
I mean, as a mother and parents, you know, our biggest prerogative is to keep our kids safe, and having grown up here and moved to go to college and deciding to come back, we would have never come back if there was any threat to my children or ourselves.
So right now we have a remediation that's comprehensive and protective. Looking ahead, we want to ensure that remedy is protected in the long term. The state of Montana's biggest assurance that that can be done is to work with the local citizens and local government to make sure that that happens. We are committed to doing that, and we look forward to working with Libby and Troy communities and the county in a collaborative way to make that successful.
Well, Riverfront Park, that's another example of EPA's cleanup work. Real cornerstone now for the community. It used to be part of the mining operations. And so to have that repurposed into something just amazing and beautiful and a great venue for a lot of outdoor festivals and activities.
I think the cleanup was very thorough in the sense that, you know, properties were adequately checked everywhere. And even my own property, for example, was very thoroughly inspected and cleaned, and I now have peace of mind with that, which a lot of people now have. And moving forward in the future, anybody who would be afraid based on news that they've heard about the area can see this document that the EPA provides that says this property is cleaned and thoroughly inspected, and removes a lot of that future fear from this.
Now that cleanup and remediation are complete, Libby is moving forward to a new future, and new business is a big part of that future.
Seeing it now, having moved back, there's been so much new change that I think has happened. I feel like there's a lot more houses being built and a lot of new families moving here. So I think that just is good for the future of Libby. And the golf course also, that was something that hadn't changed until I'd moved back, and they have another 9 holes, so now it has a full 18. And
Well, I think a lot of folks are excited to be able to say that our town is clean. It has a clean bill of health. The air is, cleaner than other places in Montana, and so that's a real a coup to the efforts by EPA, and also a nice flag to wave for us to say, hey, we are open for business. And people see that, and they see the opportunity now.
We're very optimistic about what's going on in Libby. I just see a new energy everywhere and enthusiasm for the area and how beautiful it is. We have never regretted moving back here. We love it. We love it.
It's one of the most beautiful places on the planet. It's a fantastic place to live. I spent 20 years in the Air Force. I've been all over the world, and I couldn't wait to get home.
I like looking at those mountains every day and recreating around here. Obviously, being lucky enough to have a job here and be able to enjoy this every day instead of waiting for a vacation to come here, and not having to worry about the effect of asbestos contamination certainly makes that more enjoyable.
EPA is continuing to work with the community on redevelopment, and we will continue to work with them moving forward. Today, the air concentrations of asbestos in Libby and in Troy are no different than any other city in Montana.
I think it's the people here that make the community, and to know that we can grow stronger from this process of where we're at now and finally concluding the cleanup site. We're on the next phase, we're on the next part of that process of life and moving forward and leading healthy, positive lives.